journey never gets any easier. A bit of a gruel, but I'm here. That's the main thing, and it looks like it's just rained as well. It looks like I've just missed a big storm because there's puddles everywhere. Don't look like there's many anglers here either, so that's a good thing. And you know what these storms are like in places like this. I'm hoping it's turned the fish on. That's what I'm hoping. I've got 2 weeks ahead of me. Not only going to be fishing this lake on this trip, I've got a trip to maybe the River Danube. We'll see how things go on here though, because if it is fishing well and I'm getting amongst the fish that I want to catch from here, then it might be worth staying. But yeah, I've got loads to do while I'm out here. A few venues that I've got to visit, but at the moment I'm absolutely shattered. So let's get set up, because I've got about an hour's worth of daylight. What we've got now, it's currently saying 7:10, but my watch is still on English, so it's about 8:10 over here, and it gets dark about 9:30, something like that. So yeah, I need to have a quick walk round. Not with the dog. I was here last year obviously with the dog, so on my own today, but I need to have a quick walk round, have a look at a few swims, see who's here, and yeah, it does feel good to be back though. So even though I'm moaning a little bit about the journey, I'm back in Germany, and some absolute units in this place that need to come out. So let's hope it turns into a good trip and we get lucky. But anyway, let's have a walk round, see what we can see. Oi oi, rod's out. We are now 3 days into the session and I'm in my third swim already. I did a couple of nights round by the beach, and then I actually did a night in First Point, which is my favourite swim on the lake, and I'm now in the U. I've got 2 rods out, so there you go. And the reason I'm in this area is because if I just zoom in, you can see that bit of weed down there. I'll try and get some drone shots up and show you. That weed is really sexy, because it's quite deep where that weed is. Where those coots are at the moment, it is about 8 to 10 foot, and the weed is top to bottom. Right in the corner to the left, it obviously gradually comes up to a shallower margin, and you've actually got a snag round there to the left. And if I just walk down here, I've got to be quiet though, I've got to show you this. There's the snag. I'm not going to go any closer. But if I zoom in, there's the snag on the far margin. Just to the right of that snag, sort of this area here, there's a really nice clear area. Really nice and clear. And I came in here this morning and stood in here and I saw the sun shining down in that area, and it was glowing, and I knew straight away it was getting visited by the fish. So that's why I've come in this spot. Now this area here, down here to the left in this little bay, I know Nermin's caught quite a few really big fish out of this lake. He caught a doctor fish out of here a few years ago. One of the best looking photographs I've ever seen of a fish from this lake. I'll put it up for you now to see it. And they do get in here. They always do. And when I came in here yesterday to have a little look, I had a little marker around and I spooked a couple of fish. I thought, right, I'm not going to fish here tonight, I'll put some bait out, and that's what I did. I put a little bit of bait out on that area over the back there. And you've also got, just out here, you've got some more clear area there as well, in about 7-8 foot. It comes up to a little gravel area. But you can see all this weed. It's just an absolute carp haven. Although I've not seen anything today apart from a bit of fizzing and just instinct that there could be carp in here. So I'm going to give it a night. Oh, that was something that's just moved out there. Don't think it was a carp though. When a carp show in this lake, it is proper budushing. But yeah, so I've got 2 rods out, and there's also a little clear area right round in this corner, but I can't get a rod in there. I had to creep through these bushes here to go and have a look at that. But yeah, it looks all right. It's worth a night. You know, normally I don't catch anything on this lake until about the 4th day. I have a habit of doing it. I think I mentioned it in last year's vlog that for some reason day 4 on this lake is when I start to catch, because you're settling in after a long journey, you're tired. I mean, I spent the first day just fast asleep in the bivvy. I was that tired, and you kind of rush the rods out, get a little bit lazy, and it's not until about now when you start to feel a little bit all right. And I've been for a run this morning, I've had a good walk around the lake as well. If you've seen me other channel, and I don't know if I've already put it up yet, but I'm going to do one of these walk around the lake things on here and show you all the different swims, and I've just done that this afternoon as well. So I've got the rods out and just really ready for tonight, because it can be a better night water, certainly a better morning water. So let's turn the camera around and show you my setup. There's the bivvy, all tucked in here. So that's the swim, there's the 2 rods, and that's how you access the swim. Just got my car just tucked around there, and that is the first point area, which I've done a lot of fishing on. Certainly off the end of it I have. But you've got a nice breeze blowing down the lake as well, down there, which is southwesterly. And I expected to see some fish on the end of that southwesterly, but there's just been nothing showing. The water at the moment is a lot higher than it normally is, and I think that's had an effect on it, because I was talking to Nermin earlier on, and Nermin knows this lake like the back of his hand. And when I was talking to Nermin, he said this lake's a little bit different to normal, and he said it's because the water level's high. Because it's high, you're not seeing the fish. You'd expect to see them in really close in the margins and stuff, but so far this season he says it's been really weird, and apparently it was higher than this, the water was as well. So yeah, I've had the drone up today though. Oh no, start posting about it, go on. Yeah, use the drone, blah, blah, blah. Boring, yeah, you old blokes. Why have I used a drone? Well, most of the lads on this lake use the drones, because if you see the fish, if you can find a fish, you know where they are, at least you're fishing on top of them. But at the moment, I ain't seen anything, even on the drone. So using the drone's been useless, because I've not seen a thing, not seen a carp. So yeah, so I'm sitting and waiting and hoping that something's going to happen. I've got a few more nights left. What have we got now? This is day 3, so I've got till Monday's. It's Thursday today. I've got till Monday, which is a public holiday on Monday, and on Monday afternoon I'm then going to go and fish the River Danube in the Bavarian area. So yeah, doing something a little bit different. I'm not over here just to fish this lake, so it's not essential that I catch something, but it'd be nice to catch something, because there's still a lot of nice fishing here that I'd like to catch, and it'd be nice to get a vlog out of it as well. So we'll see what happens, but I could be moving again tomorrow, because we've got Friday morning tomorrow. Weekends tend to be quite busy, and with it being a public holiday on Monday, there might be a few guys down for, you know, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights, just settling into some sessions. So if I'm going to move again, I need to move in the morning, get in a spot before the rush hour, if you know what I mean. Right, anyway, I shall leave you with another view of the rods. There you go. If you're wondering why I'm not filming this the same as I normally film vlogs, it's because I've got myself a new camera. It's called an Osmo, and Avid have kindly bought it and given it to me. Obviously not to keep, it's still theirs, but to use and to do some vlogs on. It's got like a gimbal on it, which it's good. It's nice. It's good for doing cutaways and what have you. But anyway, let's see if anything happens in the morning or tonight. Got a bike camera on as well down here, on a leisure battery. There you go. Let's see what happens. just on my way to see Dan, one of the regulars on here. He's had a couple of fish this morning. Just going to do some photos for him. One of them's a 50 pounder, so that sounds good. At least there's fish coming out, but not to my rods at the minute. I've actually packed up again and I'm going to do another recce around the lake and freshen myself up and stuff and get myself into another swim. The 6th one in 5 nights, so certainly putting the effort in at the minute. Right, Dan's somewhere down here, so let's go and have a look at his swim. Here's Dan's place. There you go. What you like to see in the morning, two big slings. All right, mate? Well done. It's good to see, good to see, good to see.
Perfect morning.
Great, perfect morning. Oh, how big, mate?
20.5 and 22 kilo.
Oh,
1 euro, 1 common.
perfect. All caught close in.
Not so far.
Awesome, awesome fishing. Well done, mate. Let's get some pictures.
Yes. Let's go.
Oh, right on rod. Perfect. Crazy morning for Dan, 3 fish. Change of body. Dan's been for a swim because it got stuck in some weed. Good job the water's warm. Not the other rod going as well. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's a lump. Very nice. Yes.
Yes.
Well done, mate. That's a good fish.
Very good fish.
Very good fish, mate. Well done. That's a beast. Well done, mate. Awesome. What a carp.
Yes.
Worth the swim. That's a big one.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, that's
25, I think.
yeah, definitely. Well done, mate. The first one.
Yes, nice.
Right, this is the big one. Oh yeah,
It's full.
that's a carp. That is a carp. That's easy 60 pound. That's very easily 60 pounds, English pounds. Yeah,
Yes, nice one.
that's a real big carp, mate. Are you happy?
Yes. Nice. Very nice carps today.
That's a mega fish.
Crazy.
Well done, mate. Look at that for a carp.
Unbelievable, mate.
Awesome morning. Mate, that is an awesome morning's fishing.
It's really awesome.
Crazy. Is
Crazy.
that your
Big carps.
first time you do that? Three carp in the morning?
It's my best day. I think so. Best morning at the lake. Crazy.
Well, we got some good video of it, so it's a pleasure to share the moment. Well done, mate.
Thank you, mate.
No worries, mate.
For the pictures and for the help.
That's awesome. It's great to see it. Great to see it.
Crazy.
Cool. What a catch by Dan. Absolutely awesome seeing those fish on the bank. At least I know there's some feeding. There's been a few anglers down over the last few days, but nobody's caught anything apart from Dan. Well, actually, I tell a lie. I think somebody's had a 10 kilo fish as well, a small one. Pala's mate has had one. So there's definitely been the odd one coming out here and there. I just need to get on the fish. So I need to answer that phone as well. But yeah, I'm gonna have a swim move, I think. See what's what. What's the story, morning glory? Well, the good news is the weather's still pretty good. It's still in my favour, I think, because temperatures today I think are going to be about 21, 22 degrees, which is not that bad. I'm used to being over here when it's 30 degrees and it's brutal. It really is. It's horrible. It's not necessarily the heat. It's just that the swims that I tend to like to fish haven't got a great deal of cover on them, and sitting in those kind of temperatures, waiting for fish can be a little bit of a, well, you know, I don't need to tell you guys, you know what it's like. You're all carp anglers. It's not very enjoyable. Right, so you can see at the minute, I'm in a different swim. I'm in an area that's known as left side on the first point. And I think I've done a night in here before, but I've never really fished it a great deal. I've fished the right side of first point quite a lot. And the one thing that I've noticed about this lake, you know, on this trip, you know what it's like, guys. You're all carp anglers. You know, when you fish a lake regularly and you walk around it and you see things that are a little bit different to normal. And I'm not talking about the trees growing or the bushes growing and things like that. You just start to notice that the lake is different to what you'd expect. The areas that you'd expect to see the fish, you don't see them anymore in those areas. The fish aren't showing as much. The fish aren't showing in the areas that they would normally show, you know. There's definitely something out of sorts to this lake at the moment. And I'd heard that from Nermin before I came out here, because he said to me that you'll see a different lake this year because the water level's up. And because the water level's up, the areas that the fish would normally go to, or where I'd certainly expect to see them, I'm not seeing them there. I'm not seeing them in the areas. So there's that I've noticed, because there's a couple of areas on this lake where I think I could just rock up to and catch a carp. I've always got a chance of getting a bite out of those areas, but at the minute, on the laps that I've done so far around the lake, I wouldn't be confident catching in those spots because I'm not seeing what I'd expect to see. So the lake's a little bit different. So that's probably the reason why I'm being drawn at the moment towards different areas of the lake, different swims. I'm fishing different areas. You know, I've said to you before about this lake. It's not an easy lake. It really isn't. It's the carp are catchable, and I think why I've tended to do okay on my trips out here is because my approach to fishing is a little bit different to probably some of the locals who fish here regularly, and I can be a bit more, you know, if you fish a lake regularly, you tend to do the same things over and over again, especially if you're doing overnight work sessions. You know, you just get to the lake, you put the rods out and you get your head down. That's what most anglers do, and a lot of the guys who fish this lake tend to fish like that. So, you know, for me, I'm different because I'm down here for a session. I can come here and plot up in an area, put some bait out, sit and wait, or I can move swim regularly and try and read what's going on a little bit better. It gives me an advantage being able to come over here and do these sort of longer trips, and I'm able to find fish in spots and then spend a few hours fishing for them. And I tend to catch a lot of my fish out this lake from doing that. you know, just finding fish, putting baits on them, and then a couple of hours later I'll catch one. Plotting up doesn't tend to get me many bites, is what I'm trying to say. You know, at the moment, it's a different lake. It's definitely a different lake. I'm noticing that. And with this new higher water level, I'd be expecting to see fish in those spots, and I'm not seeing them. Not seeing them in there. There's one area around by the clubhouse that's a little bit more chocolatey that, you know, I've seen fish in there, but they're only small. I'm not seeing the big ones. I'm not seeing the ones that I want to see, the ones that I want to catch at the moment. So, are they deeper? I don't know. I've put deeper rods out in the swims that I've fished, and I'm getting tench knocks on them, which I know it's not me getting done by the fish, by the carp that is. I'm getting tench knocks, I'm getting tench bites. I've already had a couple of tench, so even on the big baits that I'm using, I'm seeing tench, but I'm not feeling like I'm going to catch anything at the minute. I'm feeling a little bit sort of, not feeling lost, but it's definitely a different lake to normal. I've only got a week out here. I know that's still quite a lot of time, don't get me wrong. A week session on a lake like this is great, but I'm used to coming out here and fishing it for 2 weeks. And very often, I think I've already said this, I don't catch anything until about day 4. It happens on most of my trips because you're starting to get around the lake, you're getting settled into the fishing, you're walking around the lake, you're starting to read the signs, you're finding the fish. Oh, there's a fish, I'll put a bait on it and you catch one. So that's how I tend to fish on here. But at the minute, it is definitely different. It's definitely out of sorts. So, you know, the swims that I've been fishing, the ones that I'd normally turn to, they don't seem to be how I'd expect them to be. I think that's what I'm trying to say. So it could be a tough trip, this. So here's a quick look at the setup that I'm using then. I've got 18-pound camo outline on. That's straight through to 50-pound Shoctite. I've got roughly about 2 rod lengths of that, which is a super strong leader. Very supple, but it's very, very strong, and it's ideal for a venue like this because there's lots of rocks on the bottom, lots of obstructions like gravel patches, loads of mussels as well, and even clinging to the weed, there's lots of razor sharp mussels in that as well. So you've got to be very careful with your presentation on this because they're hard enough to hook as it is, so you want to make sure that you're going to get them in. And then that's straight through to one of our ringed leg clips. And then we've got 3.5 ounce lead on there. And then I've got roughly about 12 inches of braided hook link attached to a size 2 snag hook. Got an XL liner, and then my hook bait today. It's an S7 hard hooker, and I've got a PB pop-up on the top, which I've just trimmed down so that it gently just sits on the bottom, almost like a wafter presentation. Absolutely perfect. Not too dissimilar to what I used on here in the past, and I know that it works. So let's get this rod cast out and get a brew on the go, because I'm absolutely parched at the moment. Don't laugh. I've moved again and I'm back in the U, believe it or not. I know I got driven out of here the other day by those birds, and they are still in here, but they're not as bad at the moment because I've tried to bait them away from the area. The last few days whilst I've been walking around looking for fish, I've been baiting them away. So I'm hoping it's going to be worth coming back in here, because it definitely just looks really good. It just looks better than anywhere else around the lake at the moment. There's definitely, I think, a chance of a bite out of this swim. So I'm back in here. I think it's going to rain actually in a minute. So before I talk you through what I'm doing, I'm going to get myself hidden away in the bivvy, because it is going to tip it down. It's forecast to tip it down now. So yeah, I'll talk to you about the rods and what I'm doing in this swim this time once this rain's disappeared. So I'll see you in a bit. I've already sorted the first rod, and that one has gone on that lovely clear patch just about there. It's about a rod length out it is, and been around to that far margin and scattered a handful of bait over there, and it just looks absolutely lovely. It really does. It's glowing, especially when the sun comes up. It's definitely getting visited. I've not seen any carp over there at the moment, but I know it's getting visited because it just looks polished. There's definitely fish in that area as well, because I've seen some fizzing in the weed, and I actually spooked one when I was casting the marker float out as well earlier on. So there's carp around there, and then all I've done is just scattered about half a dozen or so baits around that and put a single hook bait over there. So yeah, that one looks really good. Now the other rod is just where that marker float is there. Well, I've not cast it out yet, I'm just about to do it in a minute. But basically what you've got is this whole bay is just covered in weed. And where that first rod's gone out, that's about 5 foot, 5.5 foot. But where that second rod's going to go, over there, that's about 15 foot. Where is it? It's about there, 15 foot it is. So you've basically got a ledge which really just drops down, and there's weed all the way around to where that 15 foot area is. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it through this camera, but it looks really lovely, it does, because it's quite deep, this area is, but there's weed all around it, and I just know what this lake's like. There's got to be carp in this area. With the first rod that I've put out, I've been really accurate with that because I've gone round to the other side and put the baits out. So with this second one, I've got to use the throwing stick to get it out there, and there's probably going to be a few baits scattered around the area, so I'm just going to use about a dozen baits around that one. I've only used about half a dozen on the first one. It's not an area that I'm going to fill in, it's not somewhere where I think you're going to get a lot of fish down here and just going to be gorging on bait. It's the kind of area that you might find one or two fish just sneaking around the weed, picking at things, and then they come across the hook bait, bang, hopefully you've got a chance. So let's get this second rod put out there and also scatter a few baits out there as well at the same time. Right, let's get this rod cast out there then. This is my second rod, one to the right where that marker is. Just using the little 10 foot React rods. It's not too far a cast, probably about 40 yards, and I want to be about a yard to the left of where that marker is at the moment. So let's see how good I am. That is cock on, that is. Oh, and it's gone down lovely as well. I've got the drop that I wanted. So all I've got to do now is get some free offerings out there. I'll just move that marker float because that line's in the way. Now both rods I'm going to fish locked up because there's too much weed about. You've got so many big fish in this lake, and the last thing I want to be doing is letting one of these fish run into that weed. I know full well as soon as I hook one anyway, I'm going to get a few problems from the weed because there's too much weed about, but if I can be close to my rods, not give the fish too much momentum, and hopefully I can stop them getting too far into that weed. I just need to go over here to sort this bank stick out. Just need to push that into the ground. Turn the buzzer on, and away we go. Right, all I need to do now is just get some baits out there, and all I'm going to do is put about a dozen baits in the area. I'm not going to overbait it. This is one of the little carbon throwing sticks from Avid, and I've got a load of different baits in here. I've got some 22 mils and some 26 mils, and I'm just going to put a mix of them out there. I've got some SLK and some S7, so just a little scattering of baits, not too far from where that marker is. That's 2 in the area. Go. That'll do. Like I say, there's a lot of weed down there, and I don't think it's the kind of area where you're going to get fish really gorging on bait. It's the kind of area where you like to get fish just picking at bait. So just a nice little scattering of bait around both rods, that should do it. Oh, you can't beat a bit of porridge in the morning. It's one of those days today which is a bit rainy, a bit cold, miserable. I slept really heavy last night, which is why I'm a bit croaky today. So a bit of porridge to start me off. I know there's lots of different ways of having your porridge, but for me, you can't beat, where is it? Where's my golden syrup? I just had it a minute ago. A bit of golden syrup with it. Absolutely beautiful. Right, I'm going to get tucked into this and I'll leave you to enjoy the sights. Let's have a closer look at the throwing stick I've been using in this film, because this is a new bit of kit from Avid Carp. It's known as the Extremity Throwing stick and it comes in 4 different models. There are 2 standard sizes and 2 XR versions. The standard measures 80 centimetres long, whilst the XR comes in at a whopping 120 centimetres. Both sizes have 2 different bores, the smaller being 24mm, which is suitable for baits up to 22mm, with the larger one going 29mm, which will take baits to 26mm. All of the sticks are made from a super lightweight carbon with a 3K weave and feature a unique speed loader at the bottom of the handle. They all have an X-strap shrink grip for comfort and control, and each comes supplied in a neat protective sleeve. Price-wise, the RRP for the standard in the 24mm is $49.99, and for the 29mm it's $49.99. Whilst for the XR, you're looking at $54.99 for the 24 and $59.99 for the 29mm. And as always, you can find out more info about both sticks at avidcarp.com. Right, we've got a fish on the left-hand rod. You just had the bite on camera. Only a couple of bleeps. Right, it's in some really heavy weed, so doing my best to hold on to it and see if we can get it out of there. Not easy. Very, very thick weed. just had an epic battle in the weed. The date is 5th of June 2025, 4 minutes past 9, and I've got a big common down there. God, I got stuck in the weed and in and out the weed. Managed to land it in, well, the swim just to the right of where I'm bivvied up. There's the hook hold, just down there. Nothing fancy. There you go. I've just nipped to the lake for a few days, en route to the River Danube, and what do you know? £70 common. Not sure it's in well, but it turned out alright, I suppose. That's the way to say it. And what do you know? One of the biggest fish in the lake. Let's get it back anyway. Right, thanks for watching, and hopefully see you again next month. There he goes. Just in time for the mosquitoes. Gonna get annihilated now.